Hi, this is Troxel. In the previous tutorial, we found where the favorites folder was located and we learned how to read the information that was in that file. In this tutorial, we're going to actually go through all of the render templates and see which ones match. Now there is a little trick to this, and so we will look at that first, and then we will go through and see how to actually compare the two lists so that we only get the ones that are in the favorites list. Now I'm only going to create a string that displays the information. Naturally you would need to store the renderer and render template information somewhere. I'm not doing that in this tutorial. We've done that in other places. So this is just to show how to find which ones are actually in the favorites list. So let's see the file again and learn some more information about this file, and then we will go through and see how to compare it to the favorites list to see which templates are favorites. Here is our favorites file again, and if you look at this, this is a really long number. These happen to be class IDs and GUI IDs. If you notice, there is a dot in the middle. So this part of the file is actually the renderer being used, and this part is the actual template inside that renderer. So we need to get both pieces of information so that we can compare both this and this to see if we have a match. So looking back at our code, all the way down to here is exactly the same. We have just filled in favorites, which is our list, with all of the nodes from that XML file. Now I'm creating me a string that says found templates. Then I'm adding a new line character so that they can each be placed on the new line. Next I'm going to go for each renderer, which I just called renderer, in myvegas.renderers. Then I'm creating a string called class ID from renderer.classid.toString. So this is going to be the first part of the information from that file. Next I'm going for each render template called template in renderer.templates, and then I'm getting the string for the GUI ID. I get that from template.template GUID.toString. And so now this is the second part of the information in that file. So now I'm going to go through and look at all of my favorites and see if this is in there. So I have a Boolean found equals false. Then for each string, which I just called FAV in favorites, if FAV equals, now I've got to get the class ID, which is the renderer, plus the period, plus the GUID, which is the template ID. If they equal, then found equals true. I'm going to get rid of this line. I just had that in there for testing. So found equals true. And then after we break out of this loop, if found, then I'm going to add this renderer name and template and a new line character to my string that I'm creating. Like I said, I'm just creating a string showing all of the matches. You would need to save the renderer and the template in order to be able to use them. And then, but once we're done with all of the loops, we're going to just do a message box.show that string. So now let's see how this works. So here it says found templates, and it shows 5 different templates that I found. And if you recall, there were 5 different items in the list. So we have found all 5 of the templates. Now going through each one of these is a long, tedious process. So let's see if we can simplify this entire section here. So now, instead of the entire for each loop, I'm just going to create a Boolean variable called found, and I'm going to get that from favorites.contains. Then we're going to give it the class ID plus the period plus the GUID. And then if found, we will go ahead and add it to the string just like we did before. And then at the end we will display all of the ones that we found. So let's save this change and try again. And here you say it's found templates, and there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them once again, once for each entry in the items list. So here was 2 different ways that we could search through our favorites list to see if the one that we are looking at is in that favorites list. One of them we have to go through all of the entries every time. The other one we just let Windows search it for us. And so the dot contains makes it much simpler for us to determine whether or not it is in that list. And so I hope you found this tutorial useful. Now that we've seen how to find the favorites, you could save those favorites as save the render and the template so that you could use them and be able to pick which one you wanted to use quickly and easily. So I hope you find it useful. Like, subscribe, let me know what you'd like to see, and we'll see you in the next tutorial.